the Book Baron. Welcome in, everybody. So today, before we get started talking about my November TBR, I'm going to say thank you to you all because I can already tell that this bad boy is going to be late. There are some things that came up at work that drastically changed my workload, so I'm really quickly trying to film this and then hopefully going to be able to pick at editing throughout the week. I'm basically filming this while other people are figuring out like what all needs to get done in the next week, and it's a whole bunch. So I'm going to try and pick at editing, but as I'm sure you guys can tell from my videos, I really like to edit, and so that's usually what takes me the longest. So hopefully I'll be able to get to that. I really appreciate you guys being understanding that, you know, sometimes my personal and professional life just get in the way of me doing the things that I actually want to be doing. But let's get into the books. So the vibes, how are things this month? We're coming off of October, and October was interesting because first half of the month really didn't get a lot of reading done because I had a lot going on, but the second half has been really just nice, pleasant. A lot of 4 stars, a lot of 3.5 stars. It's just been a very zen, easy reading experience. I'm really hoping I can bring some of that into November as I'm kind of transitioning out of some of the paranormal and spooky stuff, although there is still a fair amount of that on here. There's a little bit more of the like angsty and emotional and dark romances like I normally have, although I will say I'm probably gonna dip back into my October TBR just like a little bit too, because there's still some that I haven't gotten to that I definitely want to read. So this will be an interesting reading month because there's still a lot of carryover that I'm hoping to get to. But without further ado, let's just jump into the books that I'm hoping to read. So first up, we have Blackthorn by JT Geissinger. This is a new, I believe it's supposed to be a standalone. It's going to be traditionally published. I was lucky enough to get an ARC. I've actually already started it, side note, and it's supposed to come out November 4th. So this is a gothic, paranormal, dark romance. It's supposed to be second chance, kind of like enemies to lovers type of a deal. There's rival families, and it says that it's supposed to have Beauty and the Beast vibes. I'm really curious how that comes into the mix just because, like, as I said, I've already started reading it. But this is about Maven Blackthorn, and after 12 years, she's finally returning to her hometown, and not for great reasons. Unfortunately, her grandmother has passed, and so she's planning to attend the funeral, which she would if she could, but she can't because the body has disappeared. Her family has had a long-standing rivalry? Sure, girl. I'll take an R for 400. She's had a long-standing rivalry with the Crofts. They're this really powerful family that has like this pharmaceutical empire, and the heir to this empire and at the center of this feud is Ronan Croft, Maven's former lover and the son of the man that they suspect killed her mother. So lots of complicating factors, lots of good reasons for a rivalry to exist too. But as the mystery deepens, some old secrets start clawing their way to the surface, and all the while Maven is being pulled back into a mess that she hoped never to return to, and forbidden passion begins blooming once more between Maven and Ronan. I'm really excited to have a new release from JT Geissinger. I've been loving reading her Mafia series. This is actually my first time reading it. I've been buddy reading the Queens of Monsters series with Lynn, which it's her second time reading it, so it's been so fun, but that's not really what we're talking about. But I'll probably also read the last book in that series as well, but I digress. I'm just really excited to have a new release from her. I know that she had to cancel a lot of like book tours and stuff like that as she has some ongoing family health struggles, so I just want to show a little bit of extra support. It's so perfect for this time of year because it's kind of gothic. It's not like fully paranormal, but it's like kind of paranormal. The energy when I've been reading this first part is so fun because she's kind of got these like quirky, mysterious aunts that never married, but still living in this kind of quirky house that's got all these additions added onto it and almost seems to kind of have its own energy and own presence. It reminds me a little bit of like the house in A Discovery of Witches, but a little bit more grand. So I don't know, it's just giving like the craft, practical magic, something that feels very familiar and is really tried and true and fun, but also there's definitely a new spin. But there's also a big piece that I know is left out in the blurb, so hopefully that's a fun little surprise for you guys. And also, it's got JT's signature kind of bantery, humorous heroine that's like very sassy. So I've already started this. I am already having a great time with it. So I have really high hopes for this one. So next up, I'm returning to a series that I have been reading previously, but I had to take a little break from. That is going to be the 24690 series. The second book is Whiteout by A.A. Dark. That's the one that I'm going to be tackling. It's a horror romance. Some people talk about it like a pitch black dark romance. I think horror romance feels more appropriate, and you're about to see why. So I don't want to spoil anything, so I'll tell you about the first book because this is one that has to be read in order. The premise for this: there is a underground, like literally underground, secret society that likes to own people. They use these people for a variety of outlets of energy, some in the realm of personal pleasure, some more sadistic in nature, some more in nature.
Everything in this room is eatable. Even I'm eatable. But that is called cannibalism, my dear children, and is in fact frowned upon in most societies.
You know what I'm saying? Anyway, okay, so there's not a lot of rules to this society. There's just a lot of different types of harm that can befall the individuals. There's a lot of different reasons that these people want to own people. Our heroine is one of the people that is owned. She has been with the master that she's had for like a very long time, like the majority of her life. She kind of has this like twisted relationship where he's kind of like almost like a father figure to her, despite his penchant for abusing her. But he is unalived by someone. And initially, the society suspects it's her that did it. But regardless, this means that she no longer has a master. And that means that she is going back up for auction. So anyone can bid and win her. And there's a lot of different reasons that people want to own her in particular. But she has attracted the attention of someone that's very high-ranking. Two high-ranking somebodies, in fact. One of them just might be her ticket to salvation or her nightmare. I really loved the first book. It was incredibly dark. Like I said, definitely leans into the horror element. So I wanted to take a break before I dove into this book because I knew that if I just went on a tear and read through this entire series, I was going to be in a huge funk. And this one left on like a crazy cliffhanger because you kind of have some closure. Like you have like a good for her moment, but then we don't have a conclusion to our romance. That's still ongoing. And I don't even know if there can be a conclusion or what that even looks like. So I gotta know what happens next. Okay, next up, a little bit of a curveball. Once Upon a Demon's Heart by K.M. Moronova. So this is a fantasy romance. I'm assuming it's gonna be dark just because it's K.M. Moronova, but the premise for this is that Alira is a devoted demigod, knight, and daughter of Venus. And she is trapped in a cursed time loop. I have mentioned that I don't like these, but I'll get into why I want to read this one. She is basically cursed to be killed again and again by the Blood Knight of the Demon Kingdom. She is haunted by her role in the massacre of this very innocent village, and she is tired of dying for about the 20 billionth time. And so she decides to break the cycle in a very creative and interesting way. She's like, I'm gonna end this war with a political marriage. The man that keeps killing her. Kal-El? The world may never know. But he's the guy that's slain her a bunch of times. And he's very feared. He's very cruel. He's basically been raised to take vengeance by his father. But something about this version, this timeline, is starting to challenge his hatred of our heroine. So they're trying to forge some amount of peace between these two fractured kingdoms, and they're starting to uncover some divine manipulation, some buried truths, some very unsettling realizations. And their love just might be their salvation and their undoing. I wanted to grab this one for a couple of different reasons. It's funny because I just mentioned in a vlog that I don't like plots that are really repetitive, but I don't think that that's actually going to be the majority of this book. It sounds like the majority of this book is getting out of the time loop and getting into this marriage. I'm trying to like kind of lightly challenge my distaste for that type of story with this, just because I know that it's gonna probably be like a smaller plot point. And also, I know that I really like K.M. Moronova, but I haven't read anything that's fantasy from her. Is this her first fantasy? Does anyone know? I didn't look that up at all before I started filming. You know, this is a bit of a rush job. All this to say, I know that I like the author's writing. She just has a quality to her heroes that I really enjoy, where they're the dark, broody, angsty, and not all authors can write that in a way that I like, even though I don't think she necessarily writes like perfect books for me. I always have like a good time with her books. The ones that I've read so far anyway. And I've seen a lot of good reviews for this book, so I kind of want to know what all the fuss is about. So next up is one that has been on my priority reads for a hot minute, The Tyrant Alpha's Rejected Mate. And this is by Cate C. Wells. So this is a paranormal shifter romance. I don't know if this is a megaverse or not. I think it's tagged as much, but I don't trust Goodreads with that. They don't know the difference between shifter romances and like paranormals and omegaverse, like at all. That's a discussion for a different day. How did we get here? I really got off topic. But anyways, so we have Una, and she is single, and she ranks really low in this pack for a couple of different reasons. One, she's female. It seems like females just kind of rank low in general, but also she hasn't been able to shift, and she's got this injury on her leg. She's just not seen as a very like worthy individual. So she ranks very, very low, but she hasn't ever let that really stop her. She's not helpless. She's actually been building like a business empire under the noses of everybody else, but that ends up getting derailed because she hits her heat late. Her biology kind of throws her a curveball. She ends up claiming Killian, the pack's cold alpha, as her mate, and he rejects her publicly, brutally, is a mess. And here's the thing. Killian really prides himself about his control. He can never make a mistake, right? Obviously, someone that's in control. How could they possibly? So he knows Una isn't his mate, right? Right? But then suddenly he finds himself not able to stop thinking about her. I don't think that's a correct sentence. We move on. And he feels like she's suddenly everywhere in his head, and it's in his instincts. She's under his skin. And now he's starting to suspect that maybe he made the biggest mistake of his life. But Una, she's not sitting around and waiting for this man. No. So I have a feeling we're gonna get some good groveling with this bad boy. So the reason I wanted to do this one, it's a priority read for the year. I've actually been really, really good about tackling that list. So I'm like, want to keep the momentum going. But also, reading Mate by Ali Hazelwood just put me in the mood for shifter romances, but I wanted more of like a serious one. I used to read when I was in like high school and middle school. It just made me so nostalgic. So I just wanted something that brought a little bit more angst and tension, which is why I used to really love shifter and paranormal romances. Lynn low-key has been, she brings this one up like so often when we're talking about paranormals and shifter romances. I know this is one of her favorite series. So I definitely want to read this one because I know it's one of her favorites, and she is a connoisseur. And someone was telling me recently that this one feels like similar to Mate, but has more emotions. And now I'm trying to remember who was saying that. If it was you, let me know. But anyways, I just wanted something like a little bit more serious, but leaned into the paranormal. Next up, I have a new release from Jewel E. Ann, and that is Homemaker. It's a second chance, slow burn, contemporary romance. So a little bit of a departure from some of the other things that I've been talking about, but this is about Alice. So she's got a bit of an odd job. She basically dresses up and pretends to be like a vintage housewife for this upscale couple that lives in Minneapolis. She spends her days like wearing pearls and aprons and reading romance novels out loud to Mr. Morrison before he takes his naps. It sounds a bit strange, but it works out perfectly great for her. That is until Murphy enters the chat. And by enters the chat, I do mean that he walks through the front door. It's been 8 years since these two have seen each other. They had a whirlwind romance that changed them forever. But it also broke them in ways that I don't think really either of them were prepared for. And now he's back. And he's not coming back as a free agent. Look at me with that sports reference. I'm doing good. He's engaged to the Morrison's daughter. That's how he ends up at this house. So Alice is living in the guest house out back, and then he's in the main house. So we have forced proximity. We've got some good tension because like obviously they can't be together, but they also know that they have the hots for one another, or they at least did. So they're both trying to navigate the lingering tension, the heartbreak, the what ifs that they're dealing with, and Murphy really wants some closure, and Alice really just wants to survive the summer, but it doesn't sound like either of them are gonna get what they want. I'm gonna be honest, when I first saw the title for this book, I had kind of a visceral reaction, but I'm trying to ignore it because like it's not meant in the way that I think it was actually meant, and I don't know. I think this is an interesting premise, and I know that Jewel E. Ann can do incredible character arcs, so I'm really excited for that. I think this is gonna bring emotions, and that's what I've really seen in the reviews of friends of mine that have read it already, is that it is very highly emotional. It's kind of classic Jewel E. Ann, great forced proximity, unique setup, and bonus points, it takes place in my home state. So like, I feel like I'm legally required. I'm morally obligated to read this book. That's how that works. Next up is Delightful Sins, and this is by Lola King. This is the third book. Okay, so now an R shows up where there shouldn't be one. What's going on with my R's today? Anyways, this is the third book in an interconnected series called the North Shore series. It's an MFM Why Choose Dark Romance. I nailed that. Oh, that was so good. So our heroine was part of this gang. And in the North Shore, you kind of have like the two different gangs that exist, and your loyalty to that gang means everything. So when she fled the Kings, which was really the only family that she ever knew, it wasn't just an abandonment. That's really considered betrayal. Like, that's just not something you do. Now, Ethan and Elliot have come after her. These were people that once cared for her, but now they want revenge, and they are dragging her back into a world of violence and secrets and unfinished business. But now she's not one of them. She's public enemy number one, and they are determined to make her pay. I have been avoiding this book, I'm not going to lie, and it stopped me from continuing on with reading a lot of Lola King books, and I really just need to finish this series. Part of what happened with this one is I was like, Block, this sounds so funny. I'm like, I don't really like white shoes, but here's the thing. I know I do. Some of my favorite books are white shoes. It just has to be authors that I know I like their stuff already. I know they bring angst and tension. I know they still bring the emotions, and it isn't just like, oh my God, look at all the pain everywhere. Lola King is an author that I trust, so I should trust her with this, and I'm going to. And I'm going to put this on my TBR so that I actually read it, because I know that she is an author that is very capable of bringing angst and tension and emotion, and I need to just trust her. And I really just want to move on with this North Shore series, not because I'm like trying to like blow through it or anything like that, but like everyone's reading Silver Falls University, and there's like another book with that one coming out, and I want to catch up and like fangirl with everybody else on that series. So, but I feel like I need to finish this series just because everything in the Lolaverse is like so connected. So I want to make sure that I finish off this series, even though I think that this one probably won't be my favorite, but it's Lola King, so it's like still gonna be really good. All right, and the last one, this is about a goofy one, and this is I might not get to this, it all just depends, because, well, let me tell you what the book is first. Midnight Sun by Stephenie Meyer. Ooh, that's a good shine on that. That's not great. There you go. So this is Twilight told from Edward's perspective, and wow, my nails match that so good. I don't feel like I need to go over the synopsis of this. That feels silly. Everyone knows what Twilight is, even if you're just like, it's that vampire romance. Exactly. I'm hoping my plan works for this bad boy. So my plan, I'm gonna read this, and then I'm gonna maybe take you guys to Forks with me for my vlog. Fingers crossed. I know I'm going to Forks. That's already a done deal. My husband and I probably go about once a year because we love the hiking there. The rainforest is out on the Olympic Peninsula, so we love to go hike in the rainforest. We like being close to the coast. So a lot of times we'll hit up Second Beach on the reservation, or we'll head out to the coastline and check out the tidal pools. And we just like to rough it for a few days out on the peninsula, and Forks is actually a great location for us to kind of have as a jumping off point for all those different activities. So my husband was like, well, wouldn't it be fun if you read the book and then brought everyone to Forks? Because Forks looks nothing like it does in the movies, let me tell you. Like truly nothing like you would expect. That's my plan. I'm hoping to read the book first, and then I'll take you guys with me to Forks, but I don't know how I'm gonna pull that off, if I'll be able to pull it off. If that's not what the vlog ends up being, I'm gonna apologize in advance, and hopefully you guys won't be too sad. But that was kind of my like rough plan-ish for that vlog. So we'll see if I can pull it off. If not, hopefully whatever I come up with is just as fun. But with all of that, those are all the books that I have for you this month. These are all of my hopefuls. As I said, I'll probably dip back into my October TBR a little bit as well, but I would love to hear from you. What's on your TBR? And if you've read any of these books, what your thoughts and feelings are on them. Always really excited to hear from you guys. So anything you want to chat about with books in the comments is fair game. And if you just want to show your support and let me know that you made it to the end, but don't feel like you have anything to say, totally fair. Just leave an emoji of your choosing in the comments below, and I'll say my thanks for making it to the end. But with all of that, thank you so much for being here. Don't forget to like this video if you did end up liking it, and don't forget to subscribe if you would like more content from me that is hopefully less rushed than this video. And I really, really hope that I see you in my next video. Bye-bye!